And it is my great pleasure to welcome Anete Skuja, who's an exhibition curator from the National Library of Latvia. Now, Annette's going to talk about how she includes both the old and the new in audiovisual elements in exhibitions to help to keep people engaging with the stories, and very much about that balance between technology and storytelling. So, Annette, welcome to the webinar and over to you.
Thank you. Yes, I would like to introduce myself. I'm the exhibition project manager and curator at the National Library of Latvia. My theme of the presentation is about the newly created exhibition, Recorded, Replayed from a Phonograph to a Music Center, and how we tried to highlight the exhibition narrative with just a little bit of technology or multimedia, even though the exhibition itself is about technology. So about 2 years ago, I was invited to make an exhibition focusing on the library's audiovisual collection and its heritage. We quickly understood that audiovisual heritage is quite a broad theme, and we decided to put our focus on the recorded sound heritage. I have to mention that we did not use only the library's collection, but we also had exhibits from private collectors and other memory institutions. As there hasn't been an exhibition that focuses on sound heritage in the library, I thought that a good aspect would be to show how we have ended to the place where recorded music and sound dominates almost all of our lives, and also how the technological advances has changed on how we interact with listening to music through showing different visual scenes and settings. And there hasn't been also an exhibition about how people gained and listened to banned music or censored music during the Soviet occupation. So in this exhibition, we mix both historical sound recordings with the newly created interactive soundscapes. There are around 8 soundscapes in total in the exhibition, and in most cases were created by the composer Platons Burovickis, who interpreted the historical time, environment, and different sounds. So during this presentations, I will show short fragments of these soundscapes because in exhibition, they are much longer. So we start with the phonograph, the first recording and playing device. The use and the prevalence of the phonograph in Latvia hasn't been researched much, so we didn't place it in a particular setting, and it was definitely not used by many people. This exact phonograph was used to collect Latvian language samples, and that's why you can hear the first historical recording of Latvian language in these stylized phonographic horns. So from the phonograph, we move to the gramophone in the setting of a wealthy person's parlor. Because in the beginning of the 20th century, it was a pricey luxury item, of course, so only the elite could entertain themselves of their friends or their families with listening to shellac records. But a bit later in the 20s and 30s came a portable version of a gramophone in Latvia called the pataphones, and you can listen to, for the first time, you can listen to music outside. And from listening to outside, we again go inside. So the story continues with the end of the Second World War, which not only brought a new medium, a vinyl record, but also here it brought Soviet occupation. As these vinyl records and record players became more available to the working class at the end of the 60s, a lot of apartments started to have vinyl records in their living rooms as an entertainment for the whole family. And people started to have music collections with a lot of classical music or popular sounds, because keep in mind, it's the time of music censorship here in Latvia. So at the beginning, you could listen to only easy music, and some of the players were combined with radio. They were called radiograms, which sometimes could also catch foreign radio stations. And in these living room furnitures called the section, which were almost in everybody's living rooms, people usually would display their books, ceramics, china, records, towels, and other valuable items. But sometimes in the drawers there might be some things that officially didn't exist. This, for example, this. When you open a drawer, you listen to a sound like this. This is a sound postcard. Officially, it should contain a greeting for somebody's birthday, but sometimes it contained popular Western tunes. Western tunes and recordings of the Latvian exiles were actually very popular here, and a lot of people wanted to listen to music of the free because they were not available and they were not produced officially here in vinyl records. But a lot of people listen to officially unavailable records from the West, and that's why we entered the bootlegger's workroom. And we can try to imagine the bootlegger is now copying Western tunes on a magnetic tape. Weirdly, music was able to slip through the Iron Curtain quite easily later on. For example, literature could not. Perhaps the Soviet regime didn't think that music posed a large risk. In the Soviet Union, you could not only buy easily a magnetophone, but also blank magnetic tapes. And almost everybody had officially Soviet vinyl records and magnetic tape copies in their collection of Western music, jazz, rock and roll, and pop. But the story of the magnetic tape doesn't end there. It continues with the Soviet disco, where a big part was the listening and dancing to Western music. Soviet discos were actually very, very popular here, and they were a place where not to entertain yourself, but officially it was used to be for educational purposes. So a lot of these discos had lectures, and for the first time, people maybe listen to Beatles and learn about their new albums there as well. So then we go to the music that not only moves you, not only moves your emotions, but moves itself. So we talk about the new medium cassette tape, which is so portable that almost all of the players are also portable or built in. So in this scene, we created a video recreating the experiences to listen to cassettes in the car. The video is much longer in real life, but it's going on a never-ending loop where where you experience as a back passenger that the driver is changing cassettes constantly and trying to choose between the right sound and right song for the trip itself. So creating a new soundtrack. So then we continued the story about cassettes with the cassette markets or kiosks, as they call it in Latvian. One of the sides, so the first side, it tells a story about officially published music, and the other side of the kiosk is the story about illegal cassette trading places. In the beginning of the 80s, one of these trading places were forests because you could run away if police came. So these illegal trading places, you could buy deficit items, for example, sometimes even literature, records, and etc. So you usually go to these forests with a blank tape, and then you ask for a bootlegger to copy two albums on one side. As there hasn't been a lot of historical pictures of these events, but rather memories, we tried to recreate the scene, but not recreate it in the same form as the video, but using the future or the present risk of AI. So we used ChatGPT and Midjourney to produce these photos. So ChatGPT created the prompt from the fragments of the exhibition text. A lot of people, if it's not a guided tour, not a lot of people see that it's a recreation, that there is something wrong with these pictures. But actually, a lot of people from the time who experienced these illegal markets said that it's something quite similar, except for a few elements that didn't match up. For example, these weird mediums that we don't understand. Is it a cassette or is it a magnetic tape or something else? And of course, they didn't use tents because they didn't sleep in the forest. But then we end the exhibition with an installation by an artist, Kaspars Groševs. So he's a visual and sound artist. He created a sort of idea of his work studio. So he's not only a visual artist, but he's also a cassette DJ, and he produces cassettes and also vinyls. So you can see on the wall posters of a band, Tears for Fears, or a Korn member with Adidas tracksuits. And here you can listen to the physical mediums, almost all of them, which we've seen in the exhibition. The vinyl, the cassette, and the CD all going on a few second loop. With this installation, we wanted to show that the listening to physical records hadn't disappeared and rather has experienced a sort of renaissance. So in the exhibition, we tried to not put technology or innovations that would not only distract visitors, but and maybe also distract them from the narrative, but also don't contradict the time we want to depict. And we try to focus on the educational part of the exhibition, maybe less on entertainment. We offer a lot of guided tours, especially also for pupils and students who maybe hasn't experienced some of the mediums themselves. But during those guided tours, there is a possibility to hold the different mediums and take a look at the differences and also try to weigh them and see how would they work. But yeah, I could say that this exhibition definitely brings a lot of nostalgia from a previous time. So thank you.
Gosh, thanks, Anete. I don't know about anybody else of a certain age who may be in this webinar today, but my goodness me, you took me back through a lot of my youth, and particularly driving in the car with cassettes that would then break, and you'd spend hours trying to wind them up again using a pen or a pencil. Goodness me, I don't know. What a fantastic exhibition. The historiography of the content, I think, really is such a contribution. And this is also being reflected in some of our comments. So thank you so much for that. I'm super interested in the kind of the subversive, the hidden history kind of aspect of this. But I'm going to hold off on my question just because I know that we have two other
Mhm.
presentations to come to. But thank you, Annette, and I'm sure we
Thank
will
you.
be coming back to you in just a moment. That was wonderful.